All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Be Real, Get Real podcast. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And we created the Be Real, Get Real podcast as an opportunity for you to really get to know some of the extraordinary thought leaders and business experts that we have the privilege of knowing and being connected with. And now we get to connect with you as well. Today is a longtime friend, colleague, and all-around amazing woman. Jill Lublin is with us today, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to her. Jill, just so you know, is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, and kindness and referrals. She is the author of four best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals by McGraw-Hill, and the co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profit of Kindness, went to #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and visibility in the marketplace. She is the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 20 years experience working with over 100,000 people, plus national and international media. She teaches publicity crash courses as both live events and virtual events and consults and speaks all over the world. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers, we're working on one, and agents, as well as obtaining foreign rights deals. And you can visit Jill at jilllublin.com or publicitycrashcourse.com, and we'll give you all those details. But now let me bring you Jill. Hello, my friend.
Hello, Nancy. So good to be with you always.
Yes, it is always great for us to be together. And Jill, there's a lot we could be talking about. You've been a fan favorite at Women's Prosperity Network, teaching publicity, networking, standing out in a crowd. I mean, you've done all of that. And today I'd really like to kind of go back a little bit. How did this come about for you? Like, why is publicity your passion, not let alone your expertise?
You know, it's interesting. So there I was in law school. I don't even know if you know that.
I did not know that.
Yes. And frankly, I always wanted to be an attorney. I was so excited because I figured that was a great way to make a difference for people. And then I got to law school. Now, for those of you who are attorneys, I apologize in advance, but let me just say, for a highly creative mind like mine, it was a very difficult place to be. And I actually dropped out in a year. Now, if you know me, which I know you do, Nancy, but any of you, I don't drop out of things. I am a committed person who stays the course, and I just couldn't take it. I mean, I literally got physically sick, and I figured that was God's way of telling me to get out. And so I did. And what I discovered was, you know, like we all do, our circuitous paths sometimes. And I actually started working in the music business. I started working in the music business during my first year of law school, figuring that would be at least somewhat interesting. And I worked with some really high level rock and roll promoters and got like right in right away, which was really an amazing opportunity. And from there, that's really where I started becoming director of promotion and publicity at independent record labels.
So that's kind of how you got the bug as well.
Yes.
As your giftedness in it.
Yeah, well, you know, I always like to say I learned publicity through the music business. I mean, if you look at major celebrities in the music business, it's all about perception. And that's where I learned it, because our labels, you know, did I mention independent record labels had no budget? I had to learn how to do things quickly, effectively, and fast, you know, getting big results for hardly any budget. So that actually led me to Guerrilla Publicity, and everything else that happened kind of really came out of those early years.
Interesting. I had no idea that you got your beginnings by going to law school. I never went to law school, but I always wanted to be an attorney. And I went and I took my LSATs, and I was all ready to start applying to law schools. And then life circumstances happened. I didn't do that. I opened a title company instead. And those circuitous paths you talked about, you know, have us perfectly positioned where we are right now, which is here with everybody on the podcast.
Oh, I love that story too. Yeah. And I think we all end up where we're supposed to be, and every path is perfect, right?
Yeah.
For as long as it is.
Let me ask you this question, because one of the things I've noticed as entrepreneurs are growing their business is there's definitely a need for self-promotion and publicity. But then there's also this thing in the back of our minds, oh, don't boast, don't brag. How do we overcome this, or how do you work with your clients to look beyond those things?
So a couple things. One is, if nobody knows about your business, how can you do business, right? And I think it's really key that you do have interest, people talking about you, and the power of what publicity does is builds that trust and credibility and pipeline, right? And profits into clients. So what I also know about that, oh, well, I can't brag. First of all, it's a bigger issue with women. The men I work with have far less issues around this. I also noticed that when you know your message and you're more confident, hey, guess what happens? You're able to promote yourself better. You're able to speak yourself better. It is a bit of learning. You know, listen, I know most people wouldn't believe this. I was very shy as a child growing up. I had to learn all this. So I have actually great compassion for people who are shy, a little bit afraid of promoting themselves. I remember speaking in Australia, New Zealand, where the tall poppy syndrome is that, you know, if you speak about yourself, your head gets chopped off. Now that's serious. Now, in the United States, we have a little more leeway on that. So, you know, it depends, honestly, culturally, where you're from. Asian cultures have different rules about this. Honestly, it's built in culturally in multiple cultures. And just generally, some people have oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't be talking about myself. Well, you know, as much as I'd love to say your mother's in front of you waving the white flag and saying how great you are, that's not happening. And it is up to you to spread the word about your business, to understand that publicity is part of every business and a must-have for your marketing budget. If you look at major companies, listen, they spend a lot of money, and I mean millions, on publicity, on marketing. And so as a small business owner, you must too think about 10% of your gross revenues to actually address marketing issues, which include publicity. So just think of it as a matter, of course, of business, and maybe that'll take some of the pressure off of it, so to speak, or the what you think about it, because, you know, the reality is people need to know you exist. That's what publicity does.
Fantastic. Good answer. Thank you for that. And I trust that helps a few of our listeners move beyond that, because it's true. We've got to, I look at it this way, is that in you has been planted a certain set of gifts or talents or skills to help other people. And if you don't do what you can to let them know you're there, either they stay stuck in their problem, or maybe they get with somebody who's doesn't have the same desire, heart-centeredness around it. Like you're doing this because you want to help someone and be of service. So just letting people know is actually our responsibility. It's not fluff. We're responsible to let people know how we can serve them.
Yeah, and just even a little bit more on that, I consider the people I work with messengers, right?
Yes.
And so as messengers, yes, you are imbued with the responsibility, I like your word, to actually get your message out, whether you're selling a product, a service, you know, whatever it is. Think of it as your message to the world.
Well, let's talk about messages to the world, because you have this other book, The Profit of Kindness, which is not about publicity, right? So tell us, how did that come about? And of course, you'll let us know how we can get the book and be in touch with you, but tell us about the book.
Sure. So, you know, it's interesting because you say it actually is about publicity. And I'll tell you, one day I was sitting there looking at all my books and I went, oh my gosh, they're all about getting out there, right? And every company we interviewed in Profit of Kindness, I looked them up. Believe me, they had great publicity, right? Because by being kind, people think well of you. Your public, whether it's your perception internally, externally, oh, she's very nice, she's wonderful. You know how you say that about people, right? And they're kind. Of course, kind is the buzzword, but you'll say somebody's very nice and wonderful. Hey, guess what you're saying? You're saying they're kind. You're referring business to them. And Profit of Kindness started because one of my women friends, who I've been friends with for over 25 years, she's now 85. Frankly, I've been helping her in the getting older process, and it's been honestly a lot of work. Meaning, I'm the one who runs over if she falls down. I would take her to lunch to try and get some stimulation in her life, etc. And one day she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, Jill, you are so kind. I wish other people were like this. And I think we should develop a new currency," she says. The currency of kindness. And I went, oh my gosh, that's it. Now, Nancy, I wasn't going to write another book. It wasn't on the agenda per se. But, when someone sparks something, and of course, that was the spark that for my seed needed to be lit, that germinated and grow. And, what occurs to me is that The Profit of Kindness was the next book for me to write, because it happened so fast, meaning, I got a book deal fast. Just everything went really faster than any book I've written. And that doesn't happen a lot in the publishing industry. So I knew it was meant to be. And then I got the extreme privilege of talking to great companies and hearing wonderful stories about kindness and what it does, which, is obviously increased profitability and happiness and culture, and their customers and employees, like everybody was happier because the company is kind. And I just, as a cultural value, right? I just thought that was super interesting. And I'm talking about even, small, like I interviewed a veterinarian, right? And what was their policy around this? And anyway, it's just really interesting. And what I saw in that consistency was how important it is. And, I'd say now more than ever, we all need it, right? So that we come together and we have kind conversations, regardless of anything else we might think.
Well,
and so key.
So key. And I would actually say also that the currency of kindness transcends boundaries and borders. That's the human condition. We all want to be treated kindly and with love and respect. And I think another reason you and I are so connected and have been for so long is it ties with the one philosophy, treating everyone you meet as the one. And
I know, I love your philosophy. It's so great.
We're very interwoven, my friend. Yes, we are. Awesome. So as we're starting to wrap up, what would you say to one of our audience members who may be listening and they're like, yeah, I know I should get out there. I know, publicity is available and it's expensive and I don't know how to do it. What's one word of advice or suggestion you would give to that person?
So start with a baby step. And it could be locally in your marketplace, which frankly is easier to get. So are podcasts. There are lots of wonderful podcast hosts like Nancy, like me, like all kinds of great people who are out there. And start with one podcast. Look on iTunes, see what podcast is right for you. That would be a great place to start. Easier to get, and it's media, my friends. It's all media. So please understand, and maybe this will help, that publicity happens from the minute you walk into a Zoom room, a regular room, wherever you are. You're always doing publicity. So put that smile on your face, be kind, see what you can do to help others, and start spreading your message. You will feel an expansion, a powerfulness in you to stand tall with what you do. And what's so beautiful about that is you have the opportunity and ability to give more and share more of who you are and what your business does.
Delicious. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So as we're wrapping, please let our audience know how they can get in touch with you. And we'll have some links on the podcast page as well. But let's go ahead and tell them.
Sure. Thank you. So email me, let me know how I can help, support@jilllublin.com, and come on my free webinar. And how you register for that is jilllublin.com/publicity. Let's help you out and keep getting your name out there.
I love it. And thank you for all you do to help get these messengers out in a bigger way as we come together to make the world a better place. And that's what's happening right now, my friends. So Jill, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. To all of
Appreciate you.
This is back. To all of our audience, remember to go to Jill Lublin, which is JILLLUBLIN.com, and then /publicity, and you can join her for an upcoming webinar. Get the book, The Profit of Kindness, available where all books are sold, I'm sure, and also on our website. So until next time, this has been Nancy Matthews with Women's Prosperity Network, bringing you the Be Real, Get Real podcast. Have an amazing day, everybody. Until next time.